This is Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show.
Hello, welcome to Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show, episode 83. Welcome KWTF listeners, welcome podcast listeners, iTunes listeners,
welcome back.
web player listeners, which I find amazing that our data shows that people go to the website and press play.
We have data?
That seems like an old... Yeah.
Do we have big data?
We have big data, we have cloud data.
Do we have Jordy too?
We got Jordy. Jordy's rolling.
Okay.
Rolling.
As long as we got that settled.
I am your co-host Joshua, with me as always
Is your co-host Jay, and with us as always is our co-host
Rowan.
Hey guys, how's it going? How's everyone doing? Give yourselves a round of applause just for showing up today. I know it's been tough. Josh, you were saying earlier that we usually have our topics written up on the board here, but today it's completely blank.
We're just gonna,
Because you're just gonna riff it, man.
workshop some material.
Some new material. So send us an email, joshandjayshow@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Give us a review.
We're gonna sit here till
Panning's welcome.
We're just gonna sit here quietly till we get an email. Rowan, the word on the street is that your cat has an eye infection. What do you think about that RimWorld game?
I think that RimWorld needs to have cats.
What kind of game is that? What do you call the? So I'm playing a lot of this RimWorld.
Hold on a second.
What's up? Why are you always interrupting me?
Whoa. 1 second.
What? No.
There's a game called RimWorld?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good thing to call your game.
It works for Skyrim.
Yeah. Is it like Skyrim?
Yeah, but you still had to go through all those Rim jokes when that happened. And I have a text message that says, from you, that says you and I are Rim buddies now.
Yeah. I felt a little left out. I got to admit.
You could get it too, Jay.
I'm comfortable with it, but it might make some people uncomfortable.
Tell me, what does being a Rim buddy entail?
It means we have both been playing this game called RimWorld.
It's the kind of game I like, but I don't know what kind of game it is. What kind of game is it?
It's a Dwarf Fortress-like.
Yeah. It's not entirely it's like
It's a survival strategy game. Let's call it that.
Okay.
it's a top down, you have the god view, and you can sort of shape where your little villagers are going to do,
so
but they're kind of doing their own thing, running around.
Resource management and
Yeah.
micromanagement.
Yeah,
and
it's closest to a city builder, but
Yeah.
Sounds like all the games that you guys love to play.
like that space-based
Space-based Dwarf Fortress-like alpha and a number.
and a number, right?
I don't know what the number is, but I know there's a number.
So you basically, the game starts, so the game's in real early alpha to the point where it doesn't update. You have to go click your download link and get the new update.
Is that the new release your game for people to play in alpha? Is release it in pre-alpha and let people play it?
Yeah.
At what
guess.
point are they just going to let people look at a text file?
I like
in order to get
Just look at code.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I like how Josh's definition of early alpha is that it doesn't automatically update.
That's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. That's worst things ever happened to anyone.
Can't you just turn the auto update on? Just check a box?
No. He'll email you and
because that's not coming out until the beta version.
He
You can't
emails you,
check the alpha version
he
until the
emails
beta
you
version.
and says there's a new version. You go download it and replace your file. It doesn't even install it, right? It's just in a folder.
Isn't that
just in a
like
folder.
Kentucky Route Zero when it first came out? It was just in a folder.
Oh yeah,
before Steam.
Well, I was going to say, isn't that similar to? I haven't even bothered to try to install any of the iterations so far. But the Shroud of the Avatar game, isn't it just like that? There's like when there's a new build out. Don't you have to?
No, there's a launcher.
No, there's a launcher. It's
okay.
a bummer.
Okay,
it's. But picture the worst.
So
version
you're saying
of
that Richard Garriott has one up on these guys?
No.
Okay,
it's just a launcher. As far as I know. I don't think there's anything else. It doesn't play when I click play.
It's a really in-depth experience of launching a game like you've never seen before.
the launcher for whatever. But so the RimWorld is the kind of game I like. Do you like these kind of games? These populist-ish?
Sometimes I do. I mean, it depends.
Not like Populous.
Not like Populous.
But like Populous in that there's little people running around doing their own thing.
Yeah, but each person is distinct, has their own like things that they can do. So it's a little bit
And
like a role-playing
won't
game.
do. More importantly, won't do.
They won't. Some of them won't do the cleaning.
Some of them won't do the cleaning. Some of them, right now, I have. So it's the type of game that there's not a lot of content yet, but I love starting. So I'll play for a couple hours and then kind of think of a better strategy, start over. So you have these colonists. They appear, they land on the planet, and then you have them mining and building and defending and all this stuff.
Okay, sure.
So right now I have the sweetest setup. Love cleaning. Oh, they'll clean. They clean all day long. No crafting, no mining. So, except I just realized, and I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. I just realized right before the show started that you can go in and click those checkbox. I didn't know that. So I was just going through this, and no one would ever make wood. I needed wood to build anything, and no one would do it. So I kept capturing people, putting them in jail, convincing them to join me in the hopes that they would be super into being a crafter. And then I just kept getting more people. Everybody's cleaning. They're just cleaning all the dust and debris out all day long.
Well, what does that say about your society that all your people are just janitors?
Well, I've had
janitors?
a previously frustration where everything was running, and would it hurt you guys to clean up a little bit?
Like your civilization is only capable of like menial labor. That's sad.
Did you read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books? In one of them, there was it turns out that the human population started from this ship that crash landed on Earth, filled with all the people the other planet didn't want. And it was all... so it was all kind of this crew I'm rolling with now in RimWorld of just, they love to clean, they love to plant things, not food, but they won't do any actual... So all the people that the engineer, everybody that actually does real work stayed on the planet, but they convinced the useless people that there was a disaster coming and sent them off on a spaceship in Hitchhikers. And that's who I have. That's what I'm dealing with.
That's your planet.
So I'm capturing murderous thugs and putting them in jail and trying to convince them to join in the hopes that they'll contribute more. Than
This is like the Australia of the galactic empire.
Yes.
Have you been capturing oafs? I find oafs are very useful.
Oafs? Yeah, I got an oaf.
What's an oaf?
It's someone who carries things around. They're really good at carrying things. That's important. You need haulers.
Yeah, they have these kind of... I don't know what those mean. Like, it'll say, this is Linda. She's a bartender. But there's no
human.
bar. Unlike Space Base, there's no bar you can set up yet. So
Well, those inform what tasks the characters won't do and what they're better at. So if she's a bartender, then she's probably going to be better at, like, cooking and stuff.
yeah, we'll get into it later, but it does have a kind of the Watch Dogs tie-in here is that each character, if you zoom in on it, it'll say little things about them. Like, likes to gossip,
Yeah, that's one of the things with this as an alpha. It's like, this person is a gossip, and this doesn't do anything yet.
Right, or someone's, so you have all these stats, right? Like, they're good at mining or shooting or cleaning, and one of them is artistic. And
there's no art.
There's no art, so it doesn't do anything. So when you first start the game, kind of like I don't know if a Western, but it's kind of like Wizardry or something, you get a bunch of stats and you hit random till you get what you want. It'll reset all the stats.
Oh, okay.
Again.
Well, it resets the entire character.
Yeah. So where it'll say things they can't do?
Yeah.
I always randomize all that says none, and then look. And then randomize till it says none, and then look at their stats. Do you do that too?
I mostly just had it so that there was someone who would do something.
Mm-hmm. And those stats can grow, right? If the more they do
I don't think they do. I haven't seen that.
So
but
if you have mining 3, it won't go to 4 if they mine a lot.
I don't think that's in. I don't know if it will be.
Have you captured anyone? Have you done
Yeah. I had one colony where. I guess the best way to describe the game is that it's like a sort of colony story generator. It's sort of like...
That's the other thing, the Left 4 Dead stuff. We should talk about that, too.
Yeah. So it's sort of like a Crusader Kings 2 type of thing where it's like seems to be designed so that you can go and say, hey, this is what happened with my colony, and then the pirates came, and then there was this giant thing that was blowing everything up, and my guys killed it, but it killed all of my other guys.
Oh, that's Josh's favorite game. The one that does that.
They liken it to Left 4 Dead in that there's a AI story coordinator that will, as you progress, manufacture different events that happen. So
Okay.
you're doing this well. You have this many crops. This is happening. At this point, we're going to have pirates attack to make it interesting. So it'll set up a narrative, sort of.
Oh, so it sort of has, I don't know, narrative thresholds for how you're dealing with resources that will activate, like, random
It's like
quests?
an AI dungeon master. So when you first start the game, you choose who that's going to be. They have these characters. Like, this person's not that aggressive. This
Okay.
person likes messing with you. Right? Rowan, this is...
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty cool.
So whether you're going to have a more aggressive game or not depends on who you choose.
Right on.
So yeah, I don't remember the story I was going to tell, or I don't remember what the thrust of it was.
Well,
But,
you were talking about how this is one of those games where this happens and then this happens and then
Yes, and
so maybe you had a specific experience from
yeah.
your
Well,
time
well, there
playing
was
it?
one. I just don't remember why I was bringing
okay.
that up.
it's
now.
not that much stuff in the game, right? Raiders
Yeah.
attack,
Well, I had this.
lightning storms.
I had this one where there's this like mechanical beast thing that was firing rockets at everything.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And it was kind of scary, but it always missed. So it's also got a little tactics combat engines where you press draft on your characters and you can like tell them where to go to shoot. So I took these characters and made a semicircle around this beast, and it kept trying to shoot at them, and it never actually hit them, and they eventually like pinged it down.
Is this all like real time or turn based type stuff?
It's real time with pause.
But you pause.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just started doing that stuff because I had someone attacking, and so I found the shooting. Maybe no one was good at shooting or something, so I just had everybody melee. Because he was standing outside the range of my turret, just sitting there shooting my turret.
Yeah.
So have you? So I just yesterday figured out how to arrest people and make a jail because there's.
Have you been drafting them and then attacking with them?
I only did that today to get this one guy.
Yeah.
But you don't have to draft them to take someone prisoner.
Well, it depends. Like, you get a whole bunch of people who will come and visit you, and I think you do have to draft them if they're just like random visitors.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Kidnap them.
So have you kidnapped anyone that was friendly?
I have not kidnapped anyone that was friendly.
Okay.
I have like found people whose pods have crashed and made a prison for them and recruited them.
Oh,
And
they're
then-
injured and you kidnap them. Oftentimes the pod will crash somewhere and someone's just lying there, help, and then you
And then you
grab
imprison
them,
them?
throw them in jail, and then you do kind of like the what was that? What's that? Homeland? Is that terrorist show?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
homeland them into being on your team.
Oh,
because you can choose
crazy.
how you're going to treat them, right? So you can choose whether you're going to recruit them or not, or attempt to, and then you choose to be
Stockholm
nice.
syndrome.
Yeah, to be nice to them, or to torture them, or to do whatever.
Oh, wow.
If you build a communications array, sometime a slave ship will come, and you can sell your
yeah.
prisoners to the slave.
And you can buy them too, right?
You can buy them.
I haven't done that yet.
I got an engineer that way.
Huh.
Dang.
In this game, it was pretty cheap, right? I don't remember how much. Oh,
I
you
mean,
didn't
I
pay
got it for free, but
Anyway, it's pretty cool. I'm stoked that there's just more content that's going to come.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you really think it's worth playing right now
Yeah.
unless you're super into this specific
Oh.
type of game?
I don't know.
I'm saying, would you...
If you're okay with getting 5-10 hours out of the game, yeah.
Well, the amount of time doesn't really concern me. It's like the quality of the experience, I guess, not the quantity.
I think it's pretty cool. I guess that, like that space-based game, eventually, you hit a wall because the research tree ends. And
I feel like the wall is at least later, if not the wall has more holes in it.
yeah, sure. Because I keep deciding I want a new strategy for starting my base.
Yeah.
And learning how to do. Like at first, I was drilling into these mountain. That's too specific for your question.
No, I was going to say, so for instance, you can play the first, I don't know what you would call it, like segment of a longer game, but they haven't developed like the full progression yet of where that can go, or...
Yeah, but I haven't hit that wall yet, and I've been playing it a lot. I've hit it with space way faster.
Okay, cool.
In Space Base, it doesn't feel like there's other things you can do.
Yeah.
In this, there at least feels like there are more complicated and more high-tech things. I don't know if you've been doing any research, but...
Oh, yeah, I haven't researched all that stuff yet at all. So actually, there's a lot of content I haven't seen. The other thing about Space Base... So this game is more survival horror in that resources are scarce. Space Base is throwing new people at you every minute. So in this one, to get a new colony member is a big deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, this sort of sounds like it's got a little bit of what my impression of State of Decay is in it.
Oh, yeah, I have.
But I don't know.
wanna
But
get
again,
into
I
that
can't
game.
play that stupid game because all I get is the characters' rendered haircuts.
Still?
I
really want to get into that game. I need to take some time and get
Yeah.
past. I've only played the first half hour.
I know.
so-
Sorry, I didn't want to distract from
No, I bet-
from your rimming.
They are
but-
kind of similar, I suppose.
The thing is, it feels like it's a little too easy to get a balance in this game. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like how it randomly happened, but like I made a colony where I managed to get like the perfect setup of like sort of an enclosed area next to a mountain. So I could like build crops behind walls.
Sure.
And it also had a geothermal vent, so I didn't even need like
Sure.
the sun.
One vent's not enough, though.
One vent's not enough, but one vent will like carry the power even if someone goes and blows up all my solar panels.
Right. Well, this game's kind of similar to The Witcher 2 in that it getting past it starts off rough and gets easier, I think. So the exciting part for me is kind of that first getting past the first 5-10 days. And once if you can successfully get a good operation going after 10 days, I think it's going to run pretty smooth.
Well, the thing that happened is
Though
like,
I never had a giant monster attack me, so.
the monster was actually pretty easy. The thing that happened was the shock pirate raid. Have you had one of those?
Where they just warp into your...
Yeah, they just like warp right on top of you.
Yeah, that can get pretty rough. I'm also playing on the easiest difficulties. So.
Yeah, I had a base with like 8 people, and it was like all this great setup, more than enough food. They were slowly mining out the mountain so they'd have more room to
That's
put
twice as many
everything.
people as I've ever had.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And then the pirates just like warped in and took out the turrets almost instantly. And so I sent my guys all out to fight them, and the pirates all had better weapons. So
Massacre.
it was... I lost 6 of my guys.
Dang.
Of my 8, and barely kept one of them alive. What I basically did is I took the one who was still able to walk, sent him back in to sent him back into the base where I had one turret like behind my main door, and the pirates just spent so long trying to bash down the door, and they saw the turret and they were like, no.
They left?
And then they were like, the pirates are tired of trying to attack.
Okay, but did you learn something from that experience that made you want to go back and do something different? Because I think that's the beauty of the game so far, is every time I start over, I'm armed with new info.
Partially, but it's more like it was just like, don't send your guys all out to attack all at once.
There you go.
But what happened was I had these 2 characters left in this like super great base, and then nothing happened. Like, I don't know whether the AI was able to do anything, but I had like a balance where I had enough food and I had enough space and I had enough power, and the characters were competent enough to like stay alive. It's just that nothing happened.
Do you think that because your base was much more well fortified, that the AI noticed that and was like, well, we're not going to send people to attack this because it's not as vulnerable?
Also,
No, they would keep attacking. It's just that they would not attack at any level that my turrets couldn't handle without my guys having to do anything.
Oh, okay.
But are you playing on that with that first?
I think I was playing on the normal mode.
So you made
Right.
all the numbers dance.
So then maybe it's time to kick it up to one of those crazier
Yeah.
AI directors. You know.
Well, it could also be that the AI just doesn't really know how to deal with only having the 2
yeah.
characters. Although I did get another like pirate warp raid where they like dived in on top, and that time my turrets handled it with no problem.
Have you been dealing with the? I don't want to talk about this forever, but the cave-ins when you're mining, like you can only mine a certain square, otherwise there'll be a cave-in. Have you dealt with a lot of that?
I had a little bit of that where like a roof fell down
Yeah.
because it was too big of a
I've
space.
been getting a lot of that. You can't just make a huge square in the mountain. You
have to build walls and stuff
Yeah.
if you're going to do that. But I've mostly been doing like the Dwarf Fortress sort of thing where, I go in, make a room, go up a little more, make a room.
Yeah, these people are whiners. They get upset if they have to share a bed. Not share a bed, but have 2 beds in one room. They want their own rooms. And if the room's pretty enough, they want their rooms prettier. And then it's kind of...
This game sounds hilarious.
I'm apartment hunting right now, and it's kind of like that. It's like, this bedroom's too small, Dude, you don't have any food.
Yeah,
What are you,
right. Like, feel free to head out and find some better accommodation.
Pirates are coming to rape us. Just focus here, They're sweeping, it's. But I love it. I there's all that stuff. I have not researched all that stuff yet.
Yeah, I got carpets and colored lights.
Carpets would be a for the apartment hunting. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, this game really needs cats. Because then you don't want the carpets. You want to have like the nice hardwood floors so you can just slide the cat across when they get annoying. It's carpet, they'll dig their claws in.
This is the type of game, yeah, definitely needs cats. Pets would be great.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll add stuff, but this is the type of game that when I was playing it, I was thinking about the game that I'm making, and then I just wanted to make this
Yeah,
game.
how is Moon Man with Robot Boy coming?
I'll tell you what. The dude and his robot friend walk around, and if they get too close to the aliens chase the dude. But if the dude runs away from the aliens go back to their home spot. So that's where I'm at with that.
So you've basically created a massively multiplayer role-playing game.
Genuine enthusiasm.
Sounds awesome.
It's fun. It's hard. It's going to take a long time to learn how to do that stuff.
Cool. Are you going to have...
Especially because I have to start over and make RimWorld now.
Yeah, well, how harsh is the AI director going to be in this game?
It's going
to be multiple Robot Boy settings.
I like feeling awesome in games, so it's probably not too hard.
So
Sounds good.
The thing with RimWorld is that it's like if you ever read about Dwarf Fortress and you were like, I want this, but I don't want it to be in ASCII and impossible to penetrate.
Sure.
Like, this seems to be the best game to be like an accessible Dwarf Fortress.
And that's his mission statement. I forget the guy's name, but I think he worked on big games before he did this.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's basically this game. It's Dwarf Fortress without being a crazy person, basically.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's up my alley, and I like the idea of creating your base and getting a game going, and then learning from your mistakes, so that when you start over again, you can kind of progress in a more efficient way. Because that's exactly how I feel about the Banner Saga. Playing through that game, it's short enough where replaying it is more realistic than something that's like a huge long RPG like Dragon Age or something like that. And as you play,
we do that enough around here too.
Right? Yeah.
I restarted Fire Emblem Awakening 5 times, so
yeah, dang. But in Banner Saga, there's some random narrative decisions that you have to make that have brutal consequences, and it does make me want to go back and play through it again to see if, when I reach this point, if my guys will be stronger and maybe they'll be able to hold out longer, and my resources won't be so depleted when I, get to this day along the path.
How long would you say that game is?
Saga length.
I think you could play through, I'm going to guess like 15 hours.
You could have a pizza day. You could wake up.
I would say if you wanted to marathon a game, you could probably, if you were really good, you could probably do it maybe in a super long day. I would say definitely in a marathon weekend, you could get through it.
But more importantly, I guess you want to keep playing. You want to play it over and over again.
Well, I do, because I reached the end point, or what I think is the end point. There's sort of a final boss battle, and I can't beat it.
Oh, so you have to start.
Kind of. Like, I can't. There may be a way that I could get it to work, but there are items that you equip on your party members.
Open up the console, type in get
No,
all banners.
Get all banners. That's how you win. I have all the banners. I win.
That's basically what happens with me at every Final Fantasy game. Is that I get to the end and either for some reason I want to like restart and do all the secrets, or my guys aren't strong enough to beat the final bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the majority of Final Fantasy games, I have gotten to the last dungeon or last boss and then restarted for some reason. And I've eventually beaten most of them.
I'm playing an RPG right now that I've made up. I'm going to pull a J on this one.
A JRPG?
Yeah, basically. I'm going to finish this stupid game, this awful game. Not awful, but just I don't...
It's awful that you feel compelled to finish it.
It's that Mario...
Sticker Star?
Mario and Luigi... No. Jay, bad. Don't bring up that Sticker Star game on this podcast.
Nintendo.
It's Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and
Oh, that game looked good.
it is, but it's so... It's...
They never shut up.
They don't talk... I don't mind that stuff, actually. I like that stuff. No, it's constantly telling you how to play. Still, at 12 hours in, it's still telling you how to play. It's still stopping everything, halt.
It's the Navi effect.
I get it. I know what to do,
Yeah.
That's just the bummer about it. But I really like this. If it wasn't for that, maybe that's why I hate this, what I'm doing so much, is because I like everything else about the game, and just constantly being... Everything grinds to a halt.
And you can't turn it off. You can't go like hints or tutorials off.
No, but sometimes it'll ask you if you want to be told what to do, and it defaults to yes, and you're clicking through dialogue. And and then when it finishes, because you're clicking through it, it says, do you need to hear that again? And it defaults to yes, and you have to
Those
all over again.
Oh man, those sneaky mother fireballers, man.
I like everything else about the game, but I've talked about it on a previous show. Go back to and listen to all the shows to hear that.
Yeah, we rail against Mario Sticker Star.
No, and this
Every
game,
episode.
I talked about Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I do like it. I just don't like this Nintendo part. This Nintendification.
Nintendo.
It's not just Nintendo.
No?
No.
It's just
I
video
think
games?
there's a general Japanese inclination to do that with games. It's not a racial thing. Game
They
designers.
must have all the time in the world over there in Japan to play their games, because
Hey,
It's also...
they don't value my time at all.
How long was the tutorial in Assassin's Creed 3?
you mean the whole game?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just the Japanese,
Yeah.
it's also the Canadians.
Yeah, to answer that
The French.
The Quebecois.
I don't know why I always think of Octodad as being French Canadian. I'm not
This is America, goddammit.
not sure why.
Skip our cutscenes.
We skip our that's right. America, we want the right to skip our cutscenes, darn it.
And the credits.
And the credits.
I watch credits. I do now. I watch them now.
I converted you.
I just watched them.
You're a credit watcher.
Do you listen to the crappy pop songs that they stick on it?
What?
Well, like the National or on Dragon Age or Dragon Age 2 or something.
No, I never finished Dragon Age
I think
2.
that was Dragon Age 2.
I'm pretty fired up for that new Dragon Age, though.
Oh man, new
good.
Dragon Age is looking good.
Are we doing it now?
I don't know. Sure.
What are we doing?
E3.
Oh, you want to do our game?
We have a game.
All right.
We do have a game.
Game over.
I have games on my phone.
We put together a little game, a little pre-3 game. If Josh can bring it up, we'll give him some get this game going music.
No, okay. All right.
So you want to introduce the segment?
So by the time you listen to this, E3 will have begun. E3 2000, what year is it? 2014.
It's E3 27, that's all I know.
But we are going to give you a little preview. Well, we're going to predict E3, I guess.
We're going to look into the future.
in the year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to play a little game here. We're going to need Rowan's help for this one.
It's a little pre-3 Mad Libs.
Rowan, I need a number.
Any number.
6.
Sounds good.
Rowan, I need a proper noun.
Origin.
Not bad, not bad.
Rowan, I need an adjective.
Visceral.
I'm going to get some music going for you guys.
Rowan, I need a noun.
City.
Cool.
I'm just choosing Batman-related proper nouns.
Noun.
Okay. Batman.
Verb.
Sleeping.
Noun.
The Joker.
Game designer, director.
Hey, I'm baller.
Woo.
Come on, son.
Sorry, I'm talking to the soundboard. Tim Schafer.
Adjective.
Cutely.
No, that's an adverb. So
Whatever.
cute.
Cute.
Thank you, Jay. Plural noun. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is our E3 Mad Libs special.
E3.
Cat.
Cats. That's a good one.
I need a number.
14.
Plural noun. Nouns. Plural noun.
Dogs.
Preposition.
Which one's prepositions?
That's like
Under, over.
yeah. Like
In,
Okay.
beneath.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
I never diagram sentences.
That's okay.
Diagonally.
Yeah, diagonally. or it would just be diagonal.
Abreast.
Now we're talking. A number.
Pie.
Plural noun.
Pies.
Adjective. We got a long way to go here, folks.
yeah. Sit tight. Go put on the kettle.
It'll all be worth it, I swear.
It will be worth it in the end.
Adjective.
Green.
Adjective.
Warm.
I'm pretending that we're driving in the car right now, driving across state.
This is if maybe you're driving to E3 listening to this. Adjective.
How many adjectives in a row do you need?
Adjective.
Adjectives are the easiest ones to do because every game has adjectives.
Gruesome.
Plural noun.
Elves.
Noun.
King.
Adjective. Folks, you are listening to our E3 Mad Libs.
Pooping
Claustrophobic.
game. Pooping game.
Verb.
Driving.
Or just be drive.
Driving me crazy. Proper
To
noun.
drive, I guess, would be it. Grand Vizier.
Nice.
What is that? Oh, it doesn't matter.
The Grand Vizier? Isn't that's
Jafar
from Prince?
from Aladdin.
I was gonna say, isn't there a Grand Vizier in like Prince of Persia?
Yeah, it's the bad guy in all the Arabian Nights.
I don't know how to
stories.
spell that. Game critic.
Brad Galloway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only game critic who listens to us.
Generic title. 1. Generic title 1.
No, that's because you're gonna use that same title
Oh, here.
somewhere
Oh,
else.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Generic title.
Like, for a game, or...
Yeah.
Sure.
Warfighter.
That's funny. That's funny. Adjective, noun.
No,
Adjective, and then a noun.
Suspense is killing.
Speedy.
What?
Speedy.
Speedy.
Speedy what?
Speedy.
Noun. I need a noun. 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 Noun.
Ocean.
Plural noun.
Buildings.
Bunch of scrotums.
Or
E3
Scrotums. Sure.
Mad Libs special is halfway done. Adjective.
No, we're almost done.
Adjective.
I already did sleepy, right?
Sleepy. Okay.
That's the buzzword for E3.
What's that?
Gerund. Gerund is like bowling, skiing, driving,
Right.
which you said earlier.
Peeing.
Now we're talking.
Scatological E3 up in here.
Plural noun. We're almost done.
Games.
Boring. Adjective.
Pizza.
Plural noun.
Burritos.
Okay, and that's the same.
Person.
Any person.
Yeah,
Yes,
any person.
Any person. From Brad Galloway to
To the Grand Vizier.
we need a buzzer, like a timer.
Yeah.
But you don't have like any sort of punishment, so.
Person. Person.
LeBron James.
Games. A games outlet. Oh, because there are so many.
Like a publication.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kotaku blog.
Kotaku blog. Adjective. Our E3 Mad Lib special. If you're just joining us.
Ornery.
E3.
Adjective.
How many adjectives are there?
There's only
There's a
two.
couple
There's
more,
only
man.
there's
Come
only
on.
there's only 12 more adjectives.
Keep it together, dude.
It's moderately multiplayer.
Adjective. Adjective. Adjective.
Flustered.
It's,
That
okay.
works. Number.
3.
Proper noun. We're so close, guys.
So close.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Another proper noun. Our E3 Mad Lib special continues.
Disney's Aladdin.
If you donate just $10 more, we will stop. Numbered adjective?
Unnumbered adjective. So like a place. You know.
Like 4th, 6th, 3rd.
Okay. 33rd.
We're so close. Adjective.
Endless.
Yeah, that's a good one. Appropriate.
Pronoun. He, she.
Yeah.
E3 Mad Lib special continues. The payoff's going to be huge here, guys.
It continues.
You all know how funny Mad Libs are.
You could go with she. I don't care.
I need another pronoun and a number, and we're good.
He won.
Are we just about there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a drink.
You want to take a quick break, and then we'll read it?
That wasn't our break?
Welcome back.
So without further ado, let's launch into the finished
well,
product of this ridiculous experiment.
Let's definitely not have any ado here. There's
Okay.
Yeah, there was a
No, zero ado. E3 2274. Microsoft Today, Microsoft announced the latest iteration of an old franchise. Halo 6 was described by Origin as leaps and bounds above all previous iterations, with an especially visceral multiplayer mode. That's on point. The firm also revealed Gears of War City from developer Batman Can Sleep. Early impressions are positive. Microsoft also had a brand new franchise to talk about. War the Joker was described by game director Tim Schafer as designed to keep people playing until they collect 1 million cute cats. I want to play a game where you collect 1 million cute cats.
As the Joker?
As the Joker. I bet Tim Schafer would make an awesome game like that. Anyway, not bad for Microsoft's portion. Moving on to Sony. It is to Sony's credit that the company is giving PlayStation 14 owners 2 brand new dues that won't be available anywhere else. Quantic Dreams Abreast Pies are visually amazing and is centered on a female character of stunning greenness. It promises to be one of the great warm stories of this generation.
How have there been no penises in this Mad Lib?
600,000 penises. Now there are penises.
Additionally, The Gruesome Elves is the post-apocalyptic story of a king starring a claustrophobic man and a drive girl, the Grand Vizier. In his preview... That makes no sense. In his preview, Brad Galloway put a sword to suggestions that this is just more of the same from Warfighter developer Speedy Ocean. The team wants us to share the buildings of these two people, and from the sleepy demo I saw, filled with peeing for games, a pizza health bar, and burritos being a larger threat than any monster, it's working in a way Warfighter never did.
I like the pizza health bar.
The pizza health bar sounds
I feel like
amazing.
I have a pizza health bar.
I have a pizza health bar too. Needs replenishing in 20 minutes. Nintendo. Moving on to poor Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Nintendo of America boss LeBron James is, as always, confident in the decisions that Nintendo has made. In an interview with Kotaku blog, he said, "We're about to launch a tremendously ornery system. A system that pushes out flustered graphics. A system that has an opportunity to do 3 things." What I've heard the fan community say is, I want my Kentucky Fried Chicken, I want my Disney's Aladdin, and I want the best 33rd party. And that's what we're looking to bring to consumers. Many endless Nintendo franchises will be present at the launch of Wii later this year. Super Mario Brothers, and Pikmin 1 did impress us, but E3 was not a huge win for Nintendo or for Wii.
Is that it?
That's it, everyone. I mean, I don't... Stop. Stop.
2 things to take away from this. One, Mad Libs
Are not that cool
kind
anymore.
of not that cool. And the other thing is...
Wow. Who would have thought?
That last one, the Nintendo one, really reminded me of those bad soundbite things. Remember during the political campaign, the company would put out those lip synced kind of. They'd have a politician doing a speech and they would lip sync it. Did you guys see all those?
No.
They're so funny. Come on.
Sorry, we don't like funny things.
Oh.
Yeah, I know not of this comedy you speak of.
It would basically be like Romney or Obama, but
Remember Romney?
But the words would be kind of like it would be as if Pootie Tang was speaking, and it was just it was hilarious.
That's rad. What a tie! I remember
Right.
Pootie Tang. That was a thing.
Video games.
So you guys want to move on? Talk a little bit about Watch Dogs.
Let me get out my notes.
Some dogs.
Watch Dogs.
You know, as a born and raised Chicagoan, I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of opinions about this game and how it did Chicago.
What is it with you people from Chicago that you're just so excited
You
about?
just mean me.
I've lived in Chicago 3 times.
You're like,
I've been to Chicago.
what is it with you, person, who is always... I don't know.
I love Chicago.
Yeah,
I think Chicago is one of those cities. I've been there a bunch, and every time I go there, it just feels good. I know where to go. I know what to do.
Yeah.
It's way better. I hate San Francisco.
Yeah, I personally prefer Chicago over San Francisco.
Really, Jay?
Quite a bit.
Why does my first note for Watch Dogs say 10 tickles? Question mark.
It's a good. I don't know.
There must have been
Let's
something. With,
explore that. What's up with the
tickles.
tickle factor in this game?
What do you think about the tickling?
there
in
must have been a
Watch
tickle
Dogs?
thing in there.
I don't remember the tickles. I don't remember a single tickling event.
Instead of walking up to stuff and pressing X, you can press X from far away.
That's true.
That's Watch Dogs.
That's a thing you can do.
You don't
in
have to
Watch
walk up to
Dogs.
the thing and press X. You can press X from far away.
So just to lay
The
it out.
future.
So just to lay it out, everybody is pretty much aware that Watch Dogs is an open world game from Ubisoft.
Makers of Assassin's Creed.
Oh, and this game is Assassin's Creedified like none other.
It's Assassin's Creed, and it's the future parts of Assassin's Creed. The
This
part where
game
they go
puts-
into the modern parts of Assassin's Creed.
This
yes.
game puts the Creed, the band, in Assassin's Creed.
So I was just playing Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Pirates or whatever it's called.
Black Flag.
Flag.
Yeah.
And
Sid Meier's Creed.
which is a beautiful game, and I think the art is really good in that game. I think
Yes.
that game looks fantastic.
Yes.
When it goes into the modern areas, I do not feel like it is a fantastic looking game, and I feel as Watch Dogs is those modern areas. It's bland. The people look bland. Everything is bland. It's not that it doesn't have all the bells and whistles graphically that a modern game does. It definitely does.
Yeah,
in fact,
sure.
it doesn't even run well on my PC, which is
Yeah,
weird.
that's another issue, but
But-
the PC version has been
Wait, you got it on PC?
unpredictable.
Yeah,
You have your Xbone and you got it on PC?
yeah.
Explain.
I wanted the best looking version of that game.
Why did you even get the Xbox then? It isn't like the first year of having a console where you buy whatever game comes out on it, regardless of whether it might look better somewhere else?
Rowan's rant. I think that's on a case by case basis, and this is not one of those cases. I got
Rowan's rant.
Wolfenstein on the Xbox. No, I didn't want to play it on it. Oh no! Actually, I know what it was. It was my day off. It came out it came out the day after a holiday, so it was out at 9
Right.
p.m. on Monday.
Yes.
and I wanted to play it, and so that was a holiday. So I VPN to get it early on Steam, so I could play it on my day off because I did like the Australian VPN thing. That's
Sure.
why I got it on Steam.
Okay. So, to get it earlier.
To get it earlier, yeah. But also, it looks better.
Except for the not running thing.
No, I can't run it on ultra everything, and that bugs me because I just got a new graphics card. But anyway, this game doesn't matter because it looks real boring and dumb, and I don't like how it looks. It just looks it's their the. I almost feel with the Uncanny Valley thing, it's characters need to be caricatures to
Yeah,
look good.
I agree.
And this game does a real bland, normal looking character design. I don't know how to describe it. It's so bland. Okay, check it out. On an open world game like Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim, there are many moments that you just stop and you just look at what's going on. And
Yes,
you
you
even
soak up the atmosphere.
do that dumb thing where I say to my girlfriend, "Look at this." You know, she's like, "Okay."
Right.
I go outside, so that's not that big of a deal. But
Does outside have dragons?
yeah, well, Watch Dogs has no moments of that.
No, it really
And
doesn't.
I don't know.
Well, that's
why.
a very Chicago thing. They're very practical there. They're like, beauty? No, we don't do beauty. We'll put a gargoyle on the library, and that's it.
No, that's BS.
That's not it.
That's not it.
But it's not this company because I feel like Black Flag does have pretty kind of moments similar to that. Like
Black Flag is
looks
beautiful.
It's just the way the game is designed. I feel like this is just real boring. It's just so boring looking. Everything about it, even the main character, is boring.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about how boring the main character is. Like just to go nitpick with details. You can change his clothes, right? That's the only way you can sort of mess with your character, which I'm a fan of. I like to customize my playable character. And if you go in a shop, you have a choice of like so many different kinds of the exact same trench coat.
yeah, there are 500 trench coats and 500 baseball
Caps, and that's
scarves,
and
These are
that's
the
what
scarves.
you wear. That's
But
it.
you can't do the like giant Alpha Protocol beard.
Nope.
Yesterday I started a game of Alpha Protocol, and I have the biggest beard
Yeah.
you've ever seen. Yeah,
That game has just enough of a way to edit your character that you can make him pretty ridiculous.
Did you read Kirk Hamilton's Watch Dogs thing?
I did, and I pretty much agree with the whole thing.
I thought that was great.
He
said that
broke
the main,
it down.
The main character looks like if you had to get like a real, what do you say, like a boring 40-year-old dad to decide to make up what a cool hacker looks like. And it would be the main character of this game.
Yeah,
something. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, something along the lines of ask your dad what a hacker looks like, and this is what comes out of it. Something along those lines. But it was pretty on point. I mean, he gave it a pretty harsh review, but at the end of it,
it was fair.
Yeah, it was totally fair. But at the end of it, I still found myself disagreeing with his final assessment because I still think it's worth playing.
Yay or nay at the
end? He said no.
Okay,
not worth playing.
So this game, I'm talking about all the stuff I don't like. And it's not that I don't like it. There's just nothing.
There's so much to talk about that. It's just
I'll say what Watch Dogs is to me, and I do like. I am enjoying this game.
Do it.
There is
for it.
Early mission where I had to get inside of this compound. Like it's a
missions are very GTA style,
very
right?
typical GTA. I have to get inside this compound and get this thing, and there's guards and there's gates and there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
and I kept
a lot of stealth stuff.
I kept trying to sneak in. I kept getting in firefights and dying. And then there was a point when I realized, without ever going inside, before I ever even entered the compound, I could hack a camera, which allowed me to see another camera, which I could then hack.
Right.
Which allowed me to kind of journey around this compound via cameras.
Yeah, you bounce from camera to camera.
And then there was a guy that had a camera on his head. I guess they had a GoPro on his head or something. So
I think they're supposed to have like their cell phone in their shirt pocket,
okay.
So you're like hacking their cell phone.
It doesn't
camera.
matter to me why.
Yeah.
So I hacked into his camera, but then I realized I needed him to go somewhere. So I hacked back to the other camera, created a diversion where I needed him to be, then hacked into him, and he walked over, and I was able to hack into the system and complete the objective.
Yes.
And that was rad, and it was really fun, and you could have a whole game of that without the whole city, without open world, without anything else. That's a fun mechanic.
I completely agree with you. That is by far the most original kind of way to tackle an objective.
Yeah, never fired a shot. It was a cool puzzle. I really enjoyed doing that kind of stuff in this game.
Well, there is something about this game where you have two main weapons. You have a cell phone to hack stuff, and you have a gun, right? You got a cell phone in your left hand and a gun in your right hand. And it bums me out that so much of this game funnels down to the same old tripe. You know, it's the same old, firefights, take cover, and shoot all the guys. And that's what way too many of the missions boil down to. I really want more of those stealthy, complete the whole thing without even being seen.
That's a bummer to hear.
Without taking out your gun.
You're a lot further than me,
There are probably ways to complete a lot of the missions without
that's what I'm saying,
engaging, but the way I tackle any mission is exactly like you just described. I find a good hideout spot where nobody's going to find me. Mm-hmm. And then I hack the cameras and I look around for weaknesses and vulnerabilities and ways to take advantage of like the AI paths of all of the NPCs. Because in some cases you have to take down a bunch of guys. Some cases you just need to get to a room, like you said, to hack a computer, get some information. There are some missions, and these are the most frustrating, where you have to take down a gang leader. So there's a gang hideout. It's like a base. Yeah. But you can't kill him. You have to not do a non-lethal takedown, which involves getting up to him and doing like a hand-to-hand combat takedown. But in order to do that, you almost always have to kill the other guys in order to get there. Because if you're in front of him out in the open, somebody else is going to see you if you don't take them out first. So I end up going in like with a silenced pistol that you can get early on in the game if you complete some objective.
Yeah, I almost wish they would make the conceit of just some security cameras have tranquilizer darts
something
for no reason.
I don't. Yeah, something. I want to be rewarded by exploring those camera paths of bouncing from camera to camera. I want to be rewarded with, if I do that right, if I figured out that puzzle correctly, I want to be able to hack into something that's going to solve the puzzle, or at least move the puzzle forward to another step. Like, oh, okay, I completed this thing, and now this guy maybe moves into a different room. And
Right. Anyway, I like draws all his bodyguards away from him, or something that you can walk up and even do your non-lethal attack without.
Yeah,
having to kill.
I think the point is that the environmental puzzle solving is much more interesting than the same old GTA style combat, right?
Yes.
Have you played many of the side missions or different types of side
Okay.
missions?
Now, having said everything I just said,
yeah.
I love running around an open world and climbing towers and unlocking towers
Yup.
more than anything else in the whole world.
Hell
Other than
yeah.
Far Cry.
Are there orbs?
I don't know if there's anything like orbs.
There's something similar to the Crackdown races that you used to do, where you
Okay.
race to collect
Yeah.
the orbs. They're like you race to collect these little coin things.
All the Ubisoft games have that.
There are all these little. They're called AR
Ubisoft,
games.
sorry.
Yeah, Ubisoft.
Ubiquitous games. That's what.
Ubiquitous software.
Is that what it is?
Oh, you listened to that episode
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Idle
yeah.
Thumbs too?
Yeah. Did that blow your mind? Blew my mind.
No, but they mentioned Alpha Protocol too, which was pretty
I know.
rad.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
They
It's
just copy us. I get
And
it.
they talked about Chicago for 45 minutes.
Right.
I love climbing towers and unlocking towers. That's
Because that's all the environmental puzzle. I mean, there are no people
Oh, that's
involved
right.
in those.
Those
That's why
are puzzles,
That's
yeah.
why they're rad, because
Yeah.
they're environmental puzzles.
and they're not really. I mean, they're puzzles, but they're
No,
not.
they're puzzles. I mean,
That's so you got to lift the forklift and do the thing. Yeah, I guess so.
well, what you do is usually there's a locked gate.
I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm in a frenzy at that point because
Yeah.
I need to unlock the tower.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how I got up there.
It
I
is
don't even
like
remember.
It is like crack. You go into it's like Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
You go into a blood frenzy
Yeah.
until you attack your victim, and then you
Yeah.
wake up.
So having said
your
this
normal
game
street clothes,
could
what
exist
happened?
with just the environmental puzzles, the hacking. I also like some of that stuff. So
If they could have redesigned, I have a feeling that this game probably went through a million iterations because there were apparently every single studio
yeah, I worked on it.
like in Canada was working on this game. And anyway, some of the side missions that I really enjoyed were exactly followed suit with just focusing on pure environmental problem solving, such as the little QR codes that you find in the environment. Have you messed around with those? So on the map, there's these little like QR code icons. And throughout the city, there are QR codes that if you hack the right camera, it will give you the right perspective to scan the QR code. So like maybe half the QR code is painted on the side of one building, and then half of it is painted on the side of another building.
and they combine
And then
from the right
if you
angle?
look at them just at the right perspective, they like merge together,
Right.
and it will let you scan them. And sometimes to do that, you have to bounce around to different cameras to get to the camera.
It's like the
to get to the right
the
camera.
sidewalk paintings that are
Yes.
nothing until you're at the right angle, and then it says
Well,
3 dimensions.
these usually involve a lot of negative space between the puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So you could hack a camera and you could see maybe 3 pieces of this QR code, but they're all on different support beams for a part of the tollway or something. Oh, I miss calling them tollways because
I was
Chicago has
just in
the tollway,
Ohio.
not a freeway.
Yeah.
It's not free.
I was just in Ohio driving around.
Oh, we need to say a quick
Goodbye.
goodbye to our WTF listeners. Go to joshandjshow.com and listen to the rest of the episode or download it at iTunes. Thank you. Goodbye.
I was driving around Ohio with my girlfriend, and I pointed out she's not used to the tollways, and
Right.
then sort of
Well, when you start getting to the East Coast, like I've driven from Chicago to New York before, and when you get through like Ohio and Pennsylvania, those tolls are not cheap.
yeah, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's a cool moment when you realize why they're called freeways. Because you grew up in California,
Yeah.
it's just you don't think it's called a freeway for any.
Any reason
Practical
other
reason,
than it.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of Watch Dogs. I like when the cops. The only time I like the cops are chasing you when you go over a raised bridge and just fly over it.
Yes.
You hit the button, the bridge starts going.
You
up
can
and you fly over.
yeah. At some point in the game, you can hack bridges.
But I don't really like the police chases in that game.
Well, so this is another thing I wanted to talk about, which is the actual like mechanical, like the engine, right? Because they designed like this is a new game engine that they built this game on, right? Then they built
It's on 360. It's coming out on Wii U.
I thought they built a new engine for this game, but regardless, one of the things that has me keep coming back, despite the fact that I think that a lot of the missions and the actual tasks that you perform are kind of lackluster, with the exception of the environmental puzzles, is that there's something about these third-person controls that feel perfect to me. The cover mechanics, popping in and out of cover.
Oh, yeah, because I do like when you're in cover, you can pick where you're going to be next. I like that feature.
Yeah, and you just run, and you can corner really easily. It doesn't glitch out. I've almost never had it glitch out and had me do something weird where it left me exposed. I mean, it's much better than GTA as far as, you know, aiming, shooting, like third-person shooting mechanics, like way better. I mean, I would love to see a Mass Effect game like running on this engine. I think it would be fantastic because it feels perfect to me. Almost everything about it, except the driving.
I agree with you. I do think the engine's good. It's just like I said. I think that something about the way they created that environment doesn't do it for me. But the actual mechanics, I think,
the way that you interact with the environment and how it feels.
Yeah.
Except I think the driving kind of sucks. I don't like how cars handle in this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll just get used to it.
Which is disappointing because Ubisoft made Driver San Francisco, and that game's driving controls were freaking immaculate, man. They were tight, but not too tight. It felt good, and it didn't feel like every turn was like 50-50 whether or not you were going to fuck yourself over.
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't drive cars anymore. I only drive motorcycles because they actually control really well.
Okay, pro tip with motorcycles. I highly suggest that anytime you grab a motorcycle, you practice driving around popping wheelies.
Oh, you hop on the motorcycle and your job is to do a wheelie the whole time.
The whole time, because you can hold down on the left thumbstick to pop your bike up and do a wheelie, and he will not fall backwards. He won't tip back, so it will automatically stop him, and he gets to a point where he gets comfortable and then kind of repositions himself so that he's like standing up and riding this thing, and you can weave in between traffic.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's the only good part about driving in that game, I think. All the driving missions I kind of avoid more than most because the driving's just not good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, between that and
this is like LA Noire a little bit in that it didn't really need all this stuff.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't need. Well, I think it would have been such a cooler, more unique game if they. I don't know if they didn't give him a gun. If he had to solve all his problems with that cell phone somehow.
Yeah, like in real life.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe all of the guns in the future have computer chips in them to give you information about, you know, serial numbers or who purchased the gun, and you can store information. You know what I mean? There's a way that you could have explained hacking into people's firearms rather than using your own.
And make people shoot at each other.
Yeah. I don't know. There are so many more possibilities.
Well, maybe if they had another 5 years.
Right. So, I don't know. But I know you're not from Chicago. You spent some time in Chicago.
A lot of time in Chicago.
Rowan, you spent some time in Chicago, right?
Yeah. So it must be great for you to play a game that's an exact replica of Chicago in every
so
way.
Frustrating. So, all right. So downtown is a pretty good representation. I mean, all of the main landmarks are there. The Loop, which it's funny, but I think telling that in this game the Loop is an island, like for some reason.
Chicago is an island in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of. It's weird. They have the Chicago River running through, and then for some reason, there's another like body of water that encircles the loop and feeds into Lake Michigan, which is just bizarre because the loop is not an island. But in this game, it is an island in the sense that it is the only portion that is trying to really represent the actual city of Chicago. Once you get outside of the downtown area, it is nothing is based on the actual city. I mean, there's a weird ballpark that's sort of an amalgam of Wrigley Field and Comiskey or U.S. Cellular Field, and which is bizarre. It's bizarre seeing the Chicago script font that the Chicago White Sox use, but it's superimposed over the blue and red of the Cubs. Like, it feels icky, man. That's not right. And another thing that I found really bizarre as far as the representation of Chicago, and I was tweeting about this earlier too, is like, you know the bean, the big bean designed by Anish Kapoor that sits in Millennium Park.
But I know what you're talking about because I saw you tweet about it.
Well, so in Chicago, in Millennium Park, which is kind of like borders like Grant Park, you get a view of the skyline and everything. It's kind of near where they have the Taste of Chicago and stuff like that in the summer. But there's this big outdoor like auditorium that's in the game, and next to that is like this outdoor garden with some sculptures, and the centerpiece of which is this giant chrome bean. I forget the real name.
That's why they call Chicago Beantown.
I don't think that's true, but
Beantown.
But it's this big bean, and in the game they get away with, I think, having to, pay to license the likeness of this piece of art, because that's a thing. Like, pieces of architecture and art have.
What about the building?
Yeah, they must have had to license it.
No way.
I'm not joking. I swear. There are, like, architecture has copyright. Is copyrighted. My brother is actually going to law school, and he wrote me back on Twitter and told me, he's like, under this section, blah, 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 like, architecture is protected by copyright. And
so what did they do? They made like a fake one?
Well, so what? Yeah, they did. Huh. They crafted this thing that looks like a big chrome bean, but if you stand exactly under it or look from, I assume, from a perspective over it somehow, it's got a hole in the middle. So it's actually this big, like, it's like a big Cheerio, like a bent, like a donut that's bent, but it's bent in a way so that when you're looking at it from the side, it looks like a bean.
Oh, that's interesting. How did you get above it and see or something?
No, I walked underneath it, and you can look up, and you see it's not the exact same thing. So this version of Chicago is like, that is a metaphor for how they do the whole city, pretty much.
How do you feel about the way Rockstar does it? Because I feel like
I love how Rockstar.
I think Rockstar does it great because they'll take each neighborhood, and of course it's not exactly like the neighborhood, but it has that feel. I feel like even in San Andreas, when you go to San Francisco,
absolutely,
it feels like San Francisco.
And what bugs me about Watch Dogs Chicago is that they don't make a definite decision one way or another. Some of it is the real Chicago, and some of it is like a Rockstar version where it's like a riff on the original version, and they put the two together and they mix them up. And
does it feel ever like Chicago?
Sometimes, yeah,
it does.
Like when you are being chased and you're cutting across like the Franklin Street Bridge over the Chicago River, and I mean all of that stuff looks like all the bridges lining up along the Chicago River with those sort of dark, like rusty brown colored arcing, like low arching supports, like metal beams that come over. Like, that's perfect. It looks perfect. A lot of the big buildings, like the John Hancock building and the Sears Tower, and all that stuff looks right. And you know how they have little hot spots with check marks that you can sort of check in? It's like virtual Foursquare.
Oh yeah,
in the game.
Yeah.
If you do that,
but that's with real people playing.
Yeah, that is with real people
could
playing
become the
online. You can become
mayor.
the mayor of like John Hancock Building or Hancock Center. I thought it was called Hancock Plaza. See, it's weird stuff like that.
Maybe that's why GTA always has this fake kind of name for everything.
And I think that they're more successful in creating a good like overall experience because of it, because it's uniform, because all of it is like kind of a tongue-in-cheek riff on the original version, but it's represented like as far as the layout goes pretty spot on for the most part. I mean, I don't know New York super well, but I know it well enough to know that for the most part just about everything's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
In this version of Chicago, I mean, it's just everything outside of downtown is totally whack, for lack of a
Watch Dogs.
way to put it.
Totally whack.
And I also thought it was really funny. But to go back to the hotspots real quick, those descriptions of the different landmarks are also super wishy-washy. Some of them are you should check them out because some of them are like sort of passive-aggressively making fun of Chicago in a way that might be funny if it felt like it was coming from the home team kind of thing. You know,
Right,
it's like you can make fun of your
Yeah,
mom,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't make fun of your mom.
Right.
And that's sort of, it feels like
Well,
they're
that's the
making
thing.
fun of my mom.
Rockstar Games are aware of themselves, and I think part of the reason Watch Dogs feels so bland to me is that at no
Yeah.
point ever winks. It never
No.
never feels like it just
No.
takes itself so seriously.
No, but you know what? It tries to wink in these descriptions, which is completely like has a completely different tone to the rest of the game.
Right.
It's like I'm this big serious guy who's totally not trying to be like Batman. I swear. And then you read these goofy descriptions of. Most of them, all they do is try to tell you this is some place where somebody who is related to Al Capone like once hung out, and you're like, who? Great. What does this game have to do with 1920s Prohibition era Al Capone stuff? Like, absolutely nothing.
It's like
But they're like, that's a Chicago thing.
in Wolfenstein. On the last episode, I was talking about how the writing's dumb, but it's comic book dumb, so it's actually good.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. It isn't
Well-
campy. It's I feel like it's taking itself really, really, really seriously. And
It doesn't have a cohesive personality, and it's apparent that so many like disparate studios worked on this thing because it feels like cobbled together by a bunch of different voices. It
Yeah.
doesn't have a consistent voice, and that also makes it as bland as a lot of the city feels. You know,
going over my notes here, one thing I have is a good thing they charged $60 for it, or I would have stopped playing by now. This is a
Burn.
$15 game. I would have been out, but
Burn.
$60.
the other thing. Kind of hilariously, the one thing that I was surprised that they did right by Chicago was they included all of this like kind of obscure Chicago punk rock.
Oh yeah,
In the soundtrack. The soundtrack, which is look, it's not the best soundtrack in a game. You know, I'll admit it. A lot of this music I listened to when I was 15 years old, and I was like a skate punk, and I don't think I listen to any of these bands really anymore. Like maybe sometimes.
Is Screeching Weasel on the soundtrack?
Screeching Weasel. So you want to do a little rundown? Because there's like Screeching Weasel, which most, anybody who probably listened to Green Day back in the day is familiar with because it's another big lookout band. Probably the biggest lookout band from Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then you've got the Vindictives,
Oh yeah.
who are, people might not know as well. They're another Chicago pop punk band, much in the same vein as
I feel like there was
Screeching
another
Weasel.
Lookout song or something came on that blew my mind, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, you got then you got bands like Naked Ray Gun is on there, which is another awesome like Chicago kind of post rock post punk band.
Weezer.
Yeah, Weezer's not from Chicago.
Isn't Weezer on there though?
They are, but then then you got like a Smashing Pumpkins song because of course they're from Chicago. But it's those deep cuts that I was pleasantly surprised, and I was like really enjoyed listening to it the first time it came on. But I most of the time I just mute the radio in that game because if I really want to have some high school nostalgia,
I haven't really messed with the radio at all. Can you choose?
Yeah. You can choose whatever songs you want.
choose stations.
it's not as fun as the radio in Grand Theft Auto. And
I would
obviously,
never try to compete with Grand Theft Auto on.
Yeah,
this
I don't-
stuff. I would just do my own thing if I were.
I think
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I think that if they had put more effort into trying to differentiate the experience from Grand Theft Auto, that they would have been more successful.
Because
But
they're just real good at what they do over there.
yeah. But I don't know. I'm going to keep playing it because I do like actually playing it. Like I said, it feels good. Even though a lot of the stuff you do ends up being pretty rote, you know, like 70% of it maybe. At least that stuff, like it feels good to perform. And then those, you know, the little puzzle solving parts are good enough that I can just do those. And then like every other Ubisoft game, every other Assassin's Creed game, you find the one type of side mission that's really cool and you ignore the rest.
Yeah.
Right? Every Ubisoft game, like open world game, has a Followers of Romulus side quest that is really cool and different from the rest of them. But yeah, then the rest just breaks down to the same old, like, find the hidden packages.
It's not bad. It's just there's some. I'm enjoying my time with it. It's weird that it flops so hard though.
Yeah, we got into some Twitter conversation with, I don't even know who that idiot was, but he's calling the game a flop, and that's fine. To call it a critically incredible game, you know, to hail critical praise upon it, I would give a sideways glance to or roll my eyes at as well. But to say that a game that sold however many millions of copies, it was like their best selling.
Well, I just saw someone said it was a flop, so I just posted to the link that was the best selling
like new
Ubisoft game,
like
ever.
new property
Yeah.
ever.
But then someone said, "Oh, I meant critically." So then I don't know if I think I just posted it at Metacritic or something. It certainly wasn't critically a flop by any means. It's definitely
Yeah, I mean,
upwards of 80 on Metacritic, if that's
Yeah,
any way to judge a game. But but by any definition of flop, it's not. There's lots of things you can say about this game, and I certainly don't
Sure.
think everyone has to like it or hate it or anything. Think whatever you want about it.
definitely,
but it's not a flop.
no, I mean, if that's a flop, then AAA, it really is in trouble, you know?
Yeah, they're all flops.
Yeah, they're all,
Everything's a
then
flop.
every game, there has never been a successful game. GTA 5 is the only one. Only successful game in history.
So it's like, wait for the inevitable backlash in November. Like, what are you talking about? That's that's
Inevitable.
What does that even mean?
Inevitable backlash.
I hate Skyrim. I hate it. I hate Skyrim, and I've played 150 hours of it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a backlash.
Well, you can please some of the dogs some of the time, but you can't. How does it go?
Can't watch.
You can't watch. You can watch some of the dogs some of the time, but you can't watch all the dogs all the time. Yeah. You know,
Fool me once.
You know, though. All right, are you guys Chicago enough to be disappointed
God.
by the fact that for a game that takes place in a Chicago police state, like there's no McGruff the crime dog anywhere in this game?
Is
you
McGruff
would
a Chicago thing?
I thought so.
We had him here.
You did?
Yeah.
McGruff the crime dog?
Yeah.
And they always used to have, and he had a little Scruff McGruff with him.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Did you guys have the I heard of bees?
Scruff
That's-
McGruff,
there's no way
Chicago, Illinois.
I don't know what's
60652. You don't remember that jingle? Are you sure that you
I
don't know
remember
that
a
from
jingle.
Chicago?
No.
They used to have commercials and on TV, and it'd be like, "Hey kids, say no to drugs."
Yeah, we
and
had
then
that.
and then you'd have little Scruff McGruff come on, and he'd
jingle,
be like, "Send your letters to Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois."
Take a bite out of crime.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we had that here.
Okay, I guess that was a national thing. I thought it was a local thing. I guess
You
I
guys
was
have
wrong.
Transformers?
All right, it's fine. Make fun of me.
Do you have Garbage Pail Kids out there? That's a big
Look, we didn't have the internet back then. There was no way to know that the kids in the Bay Area, California, had the same McGruff the crime dog as we did in Chicago. I thought he wore the trench coat and the fedora, and I thought that was a throwback to, like, you know, old Chicago detective noir type
could
stuff.
very well have originated in Chicago.
I don't know. I just remember that.
In the Chicago police state, does it have like violently enforced segregation with the law on its side?
Well, it turns
would be a
out
Chicago
that
thing.
this game's representation of African Americans is not that great.
Amazed.
Unless they are just NPCs walking around that really do not play an important part. They're just background noise. They're gangbangers. I mean, that's it. I have not seen a single person of color who wasn't a gangbanger or just, irrelevant.
Really?
And it's pretty disappointing. Especially if you're going to make a game in Chicago where, like, those kind of racial issues are... You're walking a tightrope with that stuff.
They're Canadian. They're just guessing. They don't know.
That's it. That actually makes a lot more sense.
They don't know.
They're as Canadians have no idea what that kind of like socio-racial dynamic is like in a city like Chicago.
Like, they wouldn't have read any books on Chicago. They're making a game. They have other stuff to work on.
Yeah.
They have to coordinate their 800 different studios.
All I know is that if you want to go to the south side in this game, then just go bum around some projects with some gang bangers. You can do that because that's how they made this game.
Isn't the South Side? Aren't there projects on the South Side?
Yeah, but there's a lot more than that on the south side. I mean,
It's the University of Chicago.
University of Chicago is in Hyde Park, and that's definitely its own little nexus that's very different from the rest
you're
of
from
the
South
South
Side.
No, I'm not from the South Side. No. But I had plenty of friends who are from
How
the
do
South
you know?
who are from the South Side who represent a much different culture than that, and there are also lots of people of color who represent a different culture than that too. So it is a bummer, like, to be sure.
No, it's okay to
there's
show.
no two ways about
It's
it.
definitely okay to show black ghettos and white trailer parks and all that stuff. But when you go downtown, you should also see lots of black and white lawyers and doctors. And
For instance, if you are going to hook up with another hacker or this business guy or this head of whatever who has authority, like all of those people probably shouldn't all be just white men, right?
Right.
Like if all of the gangbangers, even the leaders of the gangs, like they're working for this other old crusty white guy. You know what I mean?
I don't know how it works in the gang community.
I'm just no.
It might work like that. I have no idea.
I'm just
The
saying.
CIA is in charge of all the gangs.
All I know is in Orange is the New Black, they did the Crazy Eyes origin story. Have you gotten that far?
I only watched the first 2 episodes.
I only
Okay.
watched the first episode.
Hyper doesn't like deep dish.
I can't get over. I know. I don't either though. But I can't get over.
Deep Dish is fine. It's
Deep
not
Dish
my
is
favorite
fine, but
either.
it's a commitment. I can't get over how Netflix just here's the show. If you want to watch all 15.
Wait,
right now.
what is it? I liked the first episode where you find out that Poochie is the new bitch. Guys are like, we can't say bitch anymore. It's
I thought it was Bucci.
no, he said Poochie.
Oh, I thought it was Bucci. with the
like
B.
like the Simpsons character.
Yeah.
Poochie.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about Crazy
I
Eyes
was being a demanding Poochie
on the next episode after you guys have seen it
All right,
Okay.
we'll do Crazy Eyes next
because
time.
they handled that really well.
Yeah, and you know what? To our listeners, leave us some feedback. If you'd be down for some Orange is the New Black recaps, we can definitely work that into our podcast because, oddly enough, it's one of the few shows I think that we are all down with.
So,
Yeah.
catch up.
Yeah. Next week,
Poochies.
all you demanding Poochies out there, go watch Orange is the New Black. Is that it?
Go to joshandjayshow.com.
Pooping game.
Go to
Go to the Twitters
Go
at
do it.
Josh and Jay Show, at Rowan Kaiser,
This is why I'm a critic.
at Jay Pullman, at Joshua Doan, and you guys should all be following Unwinnable as well, because we keep doing more and more stuff with those guys, and we're gonna have some fun stuff going on with them in the future. So you should just give you a heads up.
Yeah, we've also got some cool stuff lined up.
Check
cool guests, cool stuff. So
Very
go
cool,
ahead
yeah.
and subscribe on iTunes, and then you will be getting all that cool stuff.
And also check out the Unwinnable Weekly, which just launched. Unwinnable Weekly digital magazine just launched. First issue just came out. So you can probably see some little tidbits on the Unwinnable site, and then if you like it, maybe you should throw them a few bucks and check out the online zine. It's going to be rad. Anything you'd like to pimp before we head out, Rowan?
No.
Any reviews? No projects in the works?
I have projects in the works, but they won't be pimpable.
All right. Well, until then, until they are
Black
pimpable.
projects, I bet.
Oh,
Burn. Racists.
that's no good, man. Not cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the flip flop.
Game over.